Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star Part 219 based on novel. So let's start. Only the flesh and the blood type of living creature could practice the 9-volume manual. Luo Feng's Mosha body was an energy-type living creature, and thus, his power was significantly weaker than his original Earthling body and Golden Horned Beast body, even after being injected with the essence from an original real treasure like the Space Heart. Mosha body never surpassed the limit of increasing 100 times. It was destined for Mosha body to be far weaker when it came to strength. He was mainly useful for fleeing, hiding, and disguise. When it came to fighting, Luo Feng had to depend on his original body and the Golden Horned Beast body. As for a body like 9 Remoteness Ocean, Luo Feng had chosen it because of the boundless ocean of godly power. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng's laughter swept across the internal world like a shockwave. Well, this is a happy surprise. The third body can practice the 9-volume manual, which means he has unlimited potential. Perhaps he can someday be 9 Remoteness Masters match. I'll call my third body Remote Ocean Body. It was official. Luo Feng's original body and 3 additional bodies had been determined. He had his original Earthling body, his Golden Horned Beast body, his Mosha body, and his Remote Ocean body. Luo Feng was filled with boundless pride. With his original Earthling body and these 3 bodies, nothing would stop him from becoming one of the great beings in the universe. The seed has been planted, he said. It'll be up to my efforts to decide whether I remain a weak sapling or grow into the sturdiest tree. I need to study into my Remote Ocean body first. Remote Ocean body looked exquisite, a giant body standing nearly 6,000 miles tall. Presently, he sat on the plain with his legs crossed like a giant sculpture. My strength is 300 times of that of a sector lord, Remote Ocean body said in a deep voice. My Remote Ocean body's life gene level is 300 times while the Sector Lord level world tree is around 1,000 times. That explains why I was able to successfully breed this Remote Ocean body but not the world tree body. But it seems too large for a living being of 300 times life gene level. Generally speaking, the higher the life gene level, the larger the size. Of course, special organisms of the plant race and rock race had terrifically large bodies even if they had life gene levels that were hundreds of times. After all, even ordinary life forms like cloud contact vines were already over 1 million miles tall. Life forms of the plant race had a natural size advantage. Remote Ocean body is a flesh and blood type living being. How can he be so large? Upon careful examination, Luo Feng realized Remote Ocean body had law energy flowing through his bones, muscles, vessels, and blood, and there was information hidden in the energy. Luo Feng studied the information with his mind. So, that's the case. Remote Ocean body whispered. Even Primal Chaos City leader doesn't know what talent techniques 9 Remoteness Master has. He must have talent techniques, given that my Remote Ocean body has 2 talent techniques. The information contained within the colossal body shed light on some of the mysteries of 9 Remoteness world. Remote Ocean body had 2 talent techniques. The first one was Transformed Ocean and the second was Creation. Transformed Ocean allowed Remote Ocean body to instantly turn into an ocean with a diameter of around 60,000 miles, and the time and space within it would be controlled by the ocean. The stronger Remote Ocean body got, the more control the body had over time and space. While he was still relatively weak, he could only affect time and space to a small extent, but when he became sufficiently strong, he would be like 9 Remoteness Master, whose grip on his 9 Remoteness Ocean had reached its limit. It was so powerful that no other universe masters even dared to enter 9 Remoteness space. The second talent technique was Creation. When the body became an ocean, its flesh and blood were all transformed into a bloody sea, after which his creation talent could extract energies from the ocean and reorganize the life genes to create new life forms. He could even create a new race if he was proficient with the talent, and the new lives would always submit to the master who had created them. Such powerful talent techniques. Remote Ocean body said in a deep voice. No wonder the body is so enormous. He wouldn't be able to turn into an ocean with a smaller body. Once he turns into an ocean, he can, in a way, control time and space around the ocean, which makes him significantly stronger. This kind of incredible attacking skill was a bit like the manipulation of time and space talent used by world trees. As for creation, it might be considered a mediocre skill, but this is likely how the indigenous race in 9 Remoteness world was created. Energy life forms are the easiest to create, as long as there are life cores. Luo Feng nodded. Although it's a mediocre talent at present, it could be used to create an entire race completely obedient to me. Haha. Remote ocean body's voice echoed through the internal world. I've obtained everything I wanted, and even some things I didn't expect. This remote ocean body can affect the space and time around him, and he has a talent technique in space and time. Plus, it's a flesh and blood type of living being. Still, muttered Luo Feng. Why is the size of the bloody sea so bizarre? His talent technique says he can turn into an ocean with a diameter of around 60,000 miles, but that is much smaller than those of the princes and 9 Remoteness Master. Remote ocean body frowned and considered the implications of its size. Sector Lord Princes had bloody seas with diameters of around 50 million miles. Undying Princes had royal seas with diameters of around 600 million miles. Universe Night Princes had royal seas with diameters from 20 billion to 60 billion miles. Although Remote Ocean Body possessed the transformed ocean talent, he could only turn into a sea with a diameter of around 60,000 miles, which was minuscule even by the standards of Sector Lord Princes. Transformed Ocean. Remote Ocean performed his talent technique. His flesh and bones suddenly melted, changing into a surging bloody sea in Luo Feng's internal world. Luo Feng could feel his control on the bloody sea, but it was feeble, it was only at the Sector Lord level. However, he could sense time and space distinctly. Apparently, he had incredible talent in time and space. Larger, said Luo Feng. Larger. Grow larger. Luo Feng controlled the bloody sea with his mind, but no matter how hard he tried, the diameter remained at 60,000 miles, which couldn't even match that of a Sector Lord Prince. The bloody sea churned in the sky while Mosha Body and Golden Horned Beast stood on the plains, contemplating what they were seeing. Luo Feng was perplexed. Why? Why is the volume of my transformed ocean so much smaller than that of the 9 Remoteness Master and the 108 Princes? The bloody sea only had a diameter of only 60,000 miles. However, lots of unique life forms in the universe were 60,000 miles tall or long. As for creatures of the plant race and rock race, plenty of them were larger than that. After he thought about it for a while, a thought occurred to Luo Feng. Something's wrong, he said. 9 Remoteness Master and the 108 Princes. They seem to be different from me somehow. My transformed ocean technique can transform my body into a bloody sea instantly, but it can also change it back to the original body, too. However, said Luo Feng, those 108 royal seas and the 9 Remoteness Ocean haven't changed or even moved for hundreds of millions of years. 9 Remoteness Ocean had a diameter of over 10 light years. For an eternity, the 9 Remoteness Ocean had remained in the ancestral god secret region, and the seas of the 108 princes had remained at the center of 9 Remoteness world. Primal Chaos City leader teacher said that 9 Remoteness Master will sometimes go out and fight, said Luo Feng. And if he dies, the 9 Remoteness Ocean will breed another 9 Remoteness Master. But how is that possible? Transformed ocean and the original body can't exist at the same time. If the original body were killed, he would fall forever. If the body can be born again, that can only mean that it's not the original body that was killed. Luo Feng stroked his chin in deep thought. There's only one way 9 Remoteness Master can do this. He must have transformed his body into the ocean, then created an energy body using his creation talent. The energy body can then be condensed again, even after being destroyed. 9 Remoteness Ocean has never moved, Luo Feng realized. And perhaps it's not because he doesn't want to move. Perhaps he can't move at all. And that means he never actually leaves 9 Remoteness space. As vast as the 9 Remoteness Ocean is, it can never move. Luo Feng quickly extrapolated from what he observed. Gradually, he saw the complete story. 9 Remoteness Master and his princes used some special methods to enlarge their oceans, thought Luo Feng. The trade-off is that they can't move the oceans freely anymore. Even though they can't move the oceans, the volume gives them nearly boundless godly power, and thus, they become immortal. Special organisms of the plant race and rock race also found it difficult to move. The larger the bodies were, the more difficult it was for them to move. For an enormous being like Nine Remoteness Ocean, it was unsurprising that he was unable to move at will. But how did they enlarge their oceans to such an extent? Luo Feng muttered. The bloody sea with a diameter of around 160,000 miles kept churning in the sky. What did he need to do to turn it into one with a diameter of 50 million miles? They were at completely different levels. A 50 million mile ocean had much greater energy, and generally, even if someone became undying, their size did not change. That meant remote ocean body's height would remain at 6,000 miles, and the transformed ocean would remain 60,000 miles. Yet the oceans of the Undying and Universe Night Princes kept expanding. The largest of which was 60 billion miles. How did Nine Remoteness Master and his prince accomplish that? The bloody sea churned above the extensive plains as Luo Feng attempted to enlarge its size, but all methods thus far had failed. After 3 days of trying, Luo Feng finally admitted defeat. Remote ocean body can't absorb energies because there's no room for further storage. The bloody sea has already hit its limit, and it can't be expanded even an inch larger. Nine Remoteness Master, how did you enlarge the Remoteness Ocean? Luo Feng, clothed in black, gazed at the turbulent bloody sea and murmured to himself, "Why don't you just ask Nine Remoteness Master?" This was obviously a secret. When Nine Remoteness Master first came into being, he clearly didn't have such an enormous Nine Remoteness Ocean. He must have figured out some special means so that even his princes could have enormous royal seas. "I'll try my second technique, creation," said Luo Feng. "The idea that I can create life is a great mystery." Luo Feng's mind merged with the bloody sea. The moment he cast the second technique, he felt like he was entering a new domain. The air and the grass were all dissected beneath his gaze. It was like seeing through to the very nature of these life forms. Luo Feng looked at the weeds on the plain. "Creation," he said, and grass came into being. "Creation," he said again, and a flower was born in the bloody sea. "Create Mosha body," he said. A moment passed, and Luo Feng realized that the Mosha body was too complex to be created instantly. "Creating plants doesn't give me any sense of accomplishment," said Luo Feng. "I need to create moving lives. I must." After only a few moments, and Luo Feng was already addicted to the process of creation. World energies could change plants and rivers, but creation was something more than that. Creation could replicate the constitution of life by observation. Luo Feng presumed that replicating the constitution of life forms was the most basic skill, but those who were proficient, like Nine Remoteness Master, could create an entire species. Creation was a magical thing. Although the process couldn't improve one's power directly, it would be majestic to create a species. No wonder Masters Washan Ku can guide and lead an entire race, Luo Feng thought. But I'm different from him. I can create life forms with my talent technique, whereas Washan Ku guided an existing race and led that race to evolve under some special environments. Luo Feng began to experiment. First, he put some small, weak life forms into his internal world. He quickly realized that the weaker the power was, the simpler the life gene constitution was. For those living beings that were too powerful, it was difficult to even see their constitution distinctly, let alone replicate it. Nine Remoteness Master became an ocean first, then created an energy body, and finally, created a race, Luo Feng realized after experimenting with his new talent technique for half a month. The constitution of complex life forms was impossibly intricate, making it exceedingly difficult to create a brand new race. Nine Remoteness Master must have expended a great degree of effort before learning how to create a mature race. His 108 princes must have been instructed to emulate him, but they had all failed, as they couldn't conquer the obstacles. It required an astounding amount of energy to create even a single life form, not to mention a supreme race whose members had life imprints high enough to think intelligently, train themselves, and become sector lords once they matured. No wonder sector lord princes can't create new lives, thought Luo Feng. The more advanced the life forms are, the more energy it takes to create them. However, it's easiest to create oneself. Each drop of the bloody sea had come from remote ocean body, which was why the bloody sea water contained the life genes of remote ocean body. If he wanted to create another remote ocean body, he didn't need any life constitution, as each drop of the water was comprised of such life constitution. Creation. Hua, hua, hua. The bloody sea started to tremble, and a naked body appeared. It quickly disappeared, however, and its energy was absorbed back into the bloody sea. Creation. Another 300-foot tall body showed up and disappeared. Creation. Another body appeared. This one was only 3 feet in height. It, too, quickly disappeared. Creation. Luofeng kept trying. After much trial and error, he found out that the largest body he could create was 600 miles tall, which was a smaller version of remote ocean body. Something's wrong, said Luofeng. Remote ocean body has a life gene level 300 times greater. Why does the newly created remote ocean body only have a life gene level of 30 times? Luofeng realized the problem. The new remote ocean body was only 600 miles tall, just 1/10 the original height. His life gene level was only 30 times greater, which was also 1/10 of the original version. There are some flaws in creation. He laughed. But maybe this is how it's supposed to be. There was a vast difference between the talent technique creation and the evolution of the universe. Even if he could replicate the body's constitution completely, the duplicate was still inferior, as it didn't have any talent techniques and had significantly lower life gene level. It would go against the laws of the universe for a bloody sea to be able to create a new remote ocean body as powerful as the original. After some time, he realized that each time he created a new remote ocean body, it consumed nearly 1/10 of his energies, and the volume of the bloody sea shrunk. Each body was being immediately absorbed into the ocean was because the bloody sea was reabsorbing the energies to recover its size. When the bloody sea is complete, it can't absorb any energies, said Luofeng, but it can when it suffers some losses. Luofeng got an idea. Absorb. Absorb. The world energies flooded into the bloody sea. After just a short while, the bloody sea finished and regained its original size. The bloody sea has fully recovered, but the new remote ocean body is still right beside it, said Luofeng. They draw energies from the same origin. Now, melt. The new remote ocean body fell into the bloody sea and melted into the water. The energies merged with the original sea, and the volume surged. The bloody sea was enlarged, pressing outward against the space around it. The space and time controlled by the bloody sea were also expanded. Ha. So, this is how it works, said Luofeng, overjoyed. Create a new remote ocean body, wait for the bloody sea recover, then melt the new remote ocean body back into water, thus combining it with the original bloody sea. Creation, commanded Luofeng. Recover. Luofeng went through the process repeatedly. Each time, the bloody sea could absorb more energy. Melt. Condense. The bloody sea was enlarged again. It expanded 10 times in succession. Turn back, said Luofeng. But when he tried to turn the ocean back into the original body, it failed. The ocean was bloated with energy. It was like an overweight, middle-aged man, too plump from years of overeating to run and jump as he had in his trimmer years. The bloody sea was simply too large to turn back into its original body. No wonder 9 Remoteness Master can always be revived no matter how many times he dies, said Luofeng. It's because those that die are actually the bodies created by the ocean. The original body is 9 Remoteness Ocean itself. Now that Luofeng understood the secret completely, he started to laugh. The hiss echoed across the bloody sea. Dissipate. Dissipate. The sea resolved into world energies and dispersed. Instantly, the world energies that had been added due to his experimentation vanished. Turn back, he commanded. A remote ocean original body standing at a height of almost 6,000 miles showed up again. It was the same original body with a life gene level of 300 times greater. When 9 Remoteness Master obtained an immortal body, his combat power must have been weakened at the same time, thought Luofeng. After all, he relies on his created bodies to fight outside. You gain some, you lose some. It would take an eternity for 9 Remoteness Ocean to reach its current size. It must have expanded stably for a long time. It would be impossible for 9 Remoteness Master to dissipate his godly power and turn into a being with a diameter of 6,000 miles. Luo Feng now understood why 9 Remoteness Master was invincible. He was already a Universe Master, and he continuously stored godly power so as to expand 9 Remoteness Ocean. As a result, 9 Remoteness Ocean now had a diameter of over 10 light-years. It seemed his quantitative changes had led to qualitative changes. The 9 Remoteness Ocean could already rival the most powerful true treasure in the universe, and the only downside was that it was immovable. "I've already figured out the secret behind this," said Luo Feng. He was exhilarated. "But I don't need to expand the ocean yet. There's one more vital thing. Remote Ocean Body needs to practice the 9-volume manual." Luo Feng had been looking forward to this. Remote Ocean Body had a life gene level 300 times greater, and finishing the first 5 volumes of 9-volume manual could improve a being's life gene level 48 times. Once Remote Ocean Body started to practice, he could theoretically hit 14,400 times. However, based on Luo Feng's knowledge, even the special life forms of the universe only had life gene levels of a few thousand times greater. 10,000 times greater, said Luo Feng. That seems to be the limit of the life gene level of special life forms. I'll personally discover the true limit of a life gene level in the universe. Luo Feng felt inspired. If the limit truly was 10,000 times, Remote Ocean Body could hit that limit with 9-volume manual. However, if the limit was more than 10,000 times, Remote Ocean Body would step into a new, previously unknown realm. How could Luo Feng not be excited about the possibilities? Luo Feng looked forward to this, but the overall premise was that Remote Ocean Body first needed to practice the 9-volume manual. Although he's a special life form, he is a flesh and blood type of living being. He must be able to practice it. Luo Feng thought so, anyway. He was, however, a bit afraid of the limitations of the universe law. After all, his original Earthling body and his golden horned beast body were both ordinary life forms, yet they both had life gene level thousands of times greater after practicing 9-volume manual. This time, Remote Ocean Body would target the legendary limit. Begin. Remote Ocean Body sat down on the plane with his legs crossed and started to practice 9-volume manual. Remote Ocean Body would be a great combat power if he could practice the 9-volume manual. If he couldn't, then he could only focus on training and godly power support. It worked. Remote Ocean Body suddenly laughed. My life gene level was improved after practicing the 9-volume manual. How magical it is. No wonder Zuoshan Ku is one of the universe supreme masters. Luo Feng admired his mysterious teacher more. He felt intimidated by the top-tier beings of the universe. If Zuoshan Ku was able to create the 9-volume manual, what about other supreme masters? I'm nothing compared to them, thought Luo Feng. I must train myself and catch up to them. As for any other issues, I'll wait until I become their rival. Luo Feng stopped thinking and went back to practice. He only knew that he was not powerful enough yet. He was indeed lucky to have figured out a way to expand the bloody sea created by Remote Ocean Body, and luckier still that Remote Ocean Body was able to practice the 9-volume manual. Although Remote Ocean Body could practice the 9-volume manual, it would take him a long time to finish the first 5 volumes. He was even bigger than Golden Horned Beast Body, meaning it would take a longer time for him to evolve. Even though Luo Feng was fully experienced, it would take the new body 100 years to finish the first volume. While Remote Ocean Body practiced the 9-volume manual, the other bodies studied into space law, star map, and moon policy. 100 years passed like the blink of an eye. Remote Ocean Body opened his eyes gradually after sitting there like a sculpture, and whispered, I've finished the first volume. My life gene level is now 900 times stronger, from 300 times to 900 times. The first volume had improved his life gene level threefold, and all that from only the first volume. Luo Feng was further amazed. No wonder this technique was restricted by the universe law so that Zuoshan Ku couldn't pass it on to any other life forms. He could only pass it on to one living being with the help of heavenly soul crystals. I can't wait, said Luo Feng. If I can improve the life gene level from 300 times to 900 times so easily, then next time it'll be 1,800 times. Continue. Remote Ocean Body closed his eyes and started the second volume. It was magnificent to feel his improvement every second. After the second volume was finished, Remote Ocean Body's life gene level hit 1,800 times, as expected. And when the third volume was finished, he reached 3,600 times. All the best-case scenarios were coming true. In the primal region, among the Thousand Treasure River, in the palace at the apex. 6 universe knights sat with their legs crossed, listening to Primal Chaos City leaders' teaching. Luo Feng told me that it would take him around 600 years to finish breeding his third body and that he would become undying after finishing the third body, said Primal Chaos City leader. But it's been almost 1,000 years. Why isn't anything happening? Primal Chaos City leader looked afar and saw a palace in the distance. Inside the palace, the original Earthling body sat cross-legged with Tian Chen Emperor guarding him. Luo Feng is incredibly lucky that he's got several true treasures, said Primal Chaos City leader. Maybe something special happened to him again, and that's why there's a delay. I'll leave him alone to fix it. Primal Chaos City leader kept teaching the 6 universe knights sitting in the palace. He decided to put the problem out of his mind. He was quite satisfied with Luo Feng. And after all, Luo Feng was full of surprises. Time passed. It had been over 1,000 years since Luo Feng had first started to breed his third body, and he had spent that time studying space law and creating secret techniques. He had made satisfactory accomplishments on both ends, and he had been advancing slowly and steadily on the 9-volume manual. He finished 1 volume about every century. After practicing it for 400 years, Remote Ocean Body finished the 4th volume. His life gene level doubled again, hitting 7,200 times stronger, a life gene level of 7,200 times. Remote Ocean Body sat with his legs crossed. His eyes gleamed like stars. He felt the power rushing through his entire body. His life gene level had been only 300 times before, nothing but mediocre. Now, his life level was already 7,200 times stronger, which was far superior to Zhu Chong Emperor. Perhaps this is the life gene level of 9 Remoteness Master, Remote Ocean Body murmured. Go on. The 5th volume. The original Earthling body, Mosha body, and Golden Horned Beast body all opened their eyes and looked forward to the crucial 5th volume. Remote Ocean Body's life gene level gradually improved. 7,200 times. 7,300, 7,400, 8,000, 8,100, 9,000, 9,100. I've already passed 9,000 times, said Luo Feng in astonishment. He even stopped comprehending space law, dedicating the majority of his mind to Remote Ocean Body, as he didn't dare to be careless in this matter. After his life gene level passed 9,000 times, his rate of evolution slowed down considerably. 9,500 times. 9,600. Remote Ocean Body's life gene level had already surpassed that of many extraordinary special life forms. Even many unique life forms couldn't improve themselves past 9,000 times. At 9,600 times, it became exceedingly difficult to advance any further. It appeared that his life gene level could only be enhanced a bit more. Finally, he was nearing the threshold. 10,000. And with that, its life gene level had reached the final stage. My life gene level is 10,000 times now, Remote Ocean Body exclaimed, feeling the power flowing inside of him. But as he continued practicing, he realized this wasn't the final stage after all. It seems I haven't reached my limit yet. I can improve even further. After surpassing 10,000 times, his life gene level could still be enhanced, but it was a slow, grueling process. Finally, the life gene level stopped improving altogether. Luo Feng gazed upon the fruits of his labor. Each inch of Remote Ocean Body's skin, muscles, and bones were as immaculate as the universe itself. Its life gene level had attained the height of perfection. As incredible as the 9-volume manual was, not even it could improve such a flawless life gene level. Luo Feng could see the constitution of each individual cell. Even on a microscopic level, Remote ocean body was perfect in every way. Perfect. Sheer perfection, said Luo Feng. Remote ocean body's life gene level surpassed 10,000 times. It's now slightly over 10,000 times. Remote ocean began absorbing the surrounding world energy. As remote ocean body was absorbed the energy, it kept growing taller, multiplying in size. Luo Feng was exhilarated. Neither the golden horned beast body nor his original earthling body had increased in size from practicing the 9-volume manual. However, just as remote ocean body had achieved perfection, he started to grow. Remote ocean body devoured the surrounding world energy. Although he had perfect life genes, he was only at the sector lord level. Luo Feng could support the world energies he required to grow. He grew from 6,000 miles tall to 12,000 miles tall. Then 18,000 miles tall. Then 25,000 miles tall. And he just kept getting larger. Only after remote ocean body reached a height of 55,000 miles did he stop growing. Perfect, said Luo Feng. For some reason, he felt certain that this was remote ocean body's ideal state. Just when remote ocean body stopped growing, the entire internal world was frozen. Mosha body was dazed. Golden horned beast body kept his head lifted up. The weeds were flattened by the wind, and the sea stopped churning. The water drops were floating. The bug clan queen and her bug army all froze. The original earthling body stood still. The core, the most important part of Luo Feng, was injected with a most mysterious power. Breeding the third body had caused his core to start to morph, but when this mystical power entered the core, it changed sharply. The color was changing. Red, green, blue, yellow, and gold. In the end, it turned blurry. This seemingly ordinary core now contained endless enigmas. This mysterious force penetrated the internal world when infusing the core. The force was irresistible. It was as warm and inviting as a mother's hug, appeasing all the living beings of the universe. It was not overbearing, but it was much stronger than that of Primal Chaos City Leader and even Zuoshan Ku. When the energy poured into Luo Feng's body, entering the core and the internal world, neither Chaos City Leader nor the Universe Knights being taught noticed it. It was the time and space protected by Thousand Treasure River and controlled by Primal Chaos City Leader. Yet, in this time and space, even the Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't feel that force. That mysterious and inconceivable force changed Luo Feng's core while enveloping remote ocean body. Gradually, Luo Feng opened his eyes. "Where am I?" Luo Feng said. He looked around, confused. A multitude of lights floated around him. Each one contained extraordinary power. Every one of them was more terrifying than Master of Sky Wolf. I just trained remote ocean body to a perfect state, and its size surged 9 times, said Luo Feng. And now, my mind came here. Luo Feng quickly realized that the place he had been taken to was probably one of the most mysterious places, if not the most mysterious place, in an already exceedingly enigmatic universe. Luo Feng looked around. Universe Masters are already the pinnacle beings in the universe. Who could possibly be able to harness my mind and bring it here, removing me from the territory of Primal Chaos City Leader, without being noticed? Perhaps. Only the universe itself could do this. The light spots were floating, but they were all dodging Luo Feng. Luo Feng was bewildered. Each of these light spots is even more powerful than Master of Sky Wolf. What are they? Suddenly, one light spot turned into a flash of light, shooting toward Luo Feng. The spot traveled much faster than light speed, as if light speed was not the speed limit in this space and time. Before Luo Feng could so much as begin to run away, the light spot hit his mind. Images flooded Luo Feng's mind, whizzing by in quick succession. Luo Feng saw the birth of the universe, the birth of every life form living in the universe, and their destruction. The scenes were overwhelming, and they left his mind, forgotten, about as soon as they entered. It was impossible to remember it all. An infinity's worth of information merged with his mind. Luo Feng's mind was kicked out of that space and time. In the human territory of the universe, Primal Region, within the domain of Thousand Treasure River. Primal Chaos City Leader didn't even notice what happened. Although he could control this region of time and space, His control was nothing compared to the will of the universe itself. If the universe wanted to punish a particular universe master, it could strip him of his control over time and space. The operation of universe laws was beyond the awareness of primal chaos city leader. Within Luo Feng's palace, his original earthling body, sitting with his legs crossed, opened its eyes. Confusion flashed in Luo Feng's eyes, followed by shock. Bug Clan Queen and the Bug Clan warriors regained consciousness, but they had no idea what had just happened. Only Luo Feng knew that time and space had been momentarily frozen. Luo Feng immediately examined all of his bodies. Remote Ocean body was still over 55,000 miles tall with a life gene level barely over 10,000 times. Nothing on my body has changed, he said. My original Earthling body, the Golden Horned Beast body, the Mosha body, and the Remote Ocean body all are the same. Except… no. Something's different. Luo Feng instantly noticed the core in the world ring. The core had turned blurry and indistinct, as if endless space and time were contained within it. What happened to my core? Luo Feng was astounded. He had never witnessed or heard of anything like this before. My mind has been bestowed with information containing an incredible talent technique. The core has changed drastically as well. Everything happened after my Remote Ocean body reached its ideal state, he thought. The life gene level of my Remote Ocean body had just passed 10,000 times, but it hasn't hit 10,100 yet. Is it at 10,081 times? So, the perfect life gene is 10,081 times of that of an ordinary life form? Luo Feng extrapolated. He shook his head, deciding not to think about that for now. He started to examine the core again. My mind was instructed in an incredible talent technique. The change in my core should be beneficial. Luo Feng recalled the technique he had just obtained. He had forgotten everything about the birth and transformation of the universe, but he could distinctly remember the casting method of a set of talent techniques. He didn't know the details, nor how the set of talent techniques was created. However, the method for performing the technique was sculpted in his mind. A set of talent techniques bestowed upon me for no reason. It must be a gift from the universe. Is it a gift given to me for reaching the perfect life gene level? Luo Feng speculated. Talent techniques were generally scripted on the skin or on the life core in the form of lore engravings. However, the techniques Luo Feng had been bestowed with this time were scripted directly in his mind. Talent technique, I am the universe. This technique was extremely powerful. When it was performed, godly power was burned and transformed into a microuniverse, allowing the user to trap his enemies inside the universe. Inside the microuniverse, the enemy's power was significantly weakened, whereas Luo Feng's own power surged within it. If he chose to self-destruct, the enemies would be annihilated instantly. This talent technique required an overwhelming amount of power. According to the instructions, the prerequisite for performing I Am the Universe was having a Remote Ocean body with a perfect life gene level. In addition, Remote Ocean body needed to be undying before he could perform it. An undying Remote Ocean body, with 30 times amplification of the undying body, and the body needed to be burned. These were the basic requirements for casting I Am the Universe. Every time it was cast, it would last for at least 9 seconds. By Luo Feng's calculations, Remote Ocean body would be completely burned out after only performing it just 10 times. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Unbelievable. Incredible. But I love it. An undying Remote Ocean body was even stronger than Zhu Chong Emperor, yet the amplification needed to be 30 times or more, and burning his godly power. Even in normal combat, Luo Feng was superior to quite a few universe knights. This new technique would consume 1/10 of his more than 55,000-mile-long godly body. A technique that would devour 10% of his godly body must have been incredibly powerful. Luo Feng could hardly imagine such a thing. It was inconceivable. For what it's worth, it's extraordinary, Luo Feng thought. Remote Ocean body is stronger than many universe knights' godly bodies, and many universe knights are only several dozen feet tall, which means most of them aren't able to perform this technique. Only those with enormous bodies can perform it. Luo Feng knew nothing of the secrets behind I Am the Universe. Fortunately, The method for performing it had been seared into his mind. What am I supposed to do? Luo Feng was baffled. If I turn remote ocean body into a sea again, the sea will keep expanding. The new remote ocean body would be inferior both in size and in life gene level, which means I wouldn't be able to perform I Am the Universe after becoming undying. Golden Horned Beast body's life gene level can advance again after becoming undying, and he could almost reach 10,000 times. However, he's only around 600 miles long, so his body won't be able to support that technique. Luo Feng was nervous. Even a large godly body like Golden Horned Beast wasn't enough when performing I Am the Universe. Unless, that is, Golden Horned Beast body can also gain a perfect life gene level and expand his body, Luo Feng thought. Otherwise, I could only lure enemies into the boundless remote ocean and let him perform the technique, but that means the boundless remote ocean would not be able to move. Luo Feng was faced with a choice. Should he turn remote ocean body into a sea? If he did, his power would be weakened outside the boundless remote ocean. Plus, the only way he would be able to perform I Am the Universe would be if he was lucky enough for his Golden Horned Beast body to also reach the perfect life gene level. On the other hand, if he chose not to turn into a sea, he would have terrific combat power. His remote ocean body, which stood over 55,000 miles tall, would be able to roam the universe. The downside was that his godly power would be consumed quickly, and it would be tricky to supplement the power. Luo Feng pondered the possibilities for a couple of minutes. I chose this body to be immortal, said Luo Feng. If I don't perform transformed ocean, I sacrifice that opportunity. Instead, I'll gain incredible combat power. But even inborn beast gods with immense combat power can still die. Survival is more important than power. As long as I can stay alive, anything is possible. Golden Horned Beast body can also be much stronger someday. Even if I can't perform I Am the Universe when I become undying, I can certainly perform it when I become a Universe Knight. Luo Feng had made up his mind. There's no need to rush. Besides, the boundless remote ocean can still perform it when it becomes undying. Later, the 55,000-mile tall remote ocean body stood high in the sky. Transformed ocean. Remote ocean body growled. This would be the last time he existed in his original remote ocean body form. From now on, he would take the form of a sea, the boundless remote ocean. Even remote ocean body went out to fight, it would do so in the form of a body that was significantly weaker than the original. The remote ocean body dissipated immediately. Churning, crimson waves appeared in the sky, forming a bloody sea with a diameter of almost 600,000 miles. Talent technique, creation. A remote ocean body that was more than 5,500 miles tall, with a life gene level of 1,000 times, appeared. World energy flooded into the bloody sea. The sea immediately recovered the energy lost by the body. The stunted body then merged with the bloody sea, and it expanded again. The bloody sea expanded so fiercely and quickly that the universe crystals Luo Feng took from his servant were gone. Undying fighters didn't carry adequate universe crystals, but universe crystals were fairly cheap. After all, the universe crystals used to build a giant world ring were only worth 1 or 2 mixed elements. Luo Feng went to buy more. I'll have 1 million mixed elements worth of universe crystals, said Luo Feng. 1 million worth? Are you sure? A million's worth of universe crystals, Mr. Luo Feng? Yes. Deliver them as soon as possible. Right away, Mr. Luo Feng. They will be delivered soon. Luo Feng purchased universe crystals recklessly and threw them in his internal world. The bloody sea kept expanding. It soon surpassed the limit of 50 million miles. 55,000 miles. 60 million miles. It kept expanding even as the internal world shrank. This video will end here.